Hello my dear friends, welcome to Netcode-Hub channel. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always I'll do my best to make this video simple and clear. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that, and also click on the notification icon to receive updates as soon as a new lesson or video drops. You can also like this video to support the channel grow. When this video ends and you are touched, you can buy me a coffee, and to do so, I have the link in the description so you can do that. But in case you're not touched too, then don't worry, keep watching the video. The next video will touch your heart. Alright, so we have more information for you in the description, so you can check it over there. Now when we are done, the source code of this project will be put on GitHub, so check the description as well, and you have the link to clone or download it. I know you've read the title of this video, so you know what we're going to talk about. But let me repeat. We're going to talk about how to hide and show Blazor Child Component using event callback. Okay, so that's what we're going to have a look today. Now I want to talk about child component. What is it? I've made a video on how to supply values to child component in Blazor, and I'll put it at the description as well, the link, so you can also watch that. Now let me ask you this. No matter how old you are, if you still live under the roof of your parents, how can we classify you, or what can we classify you as? Isn't that a child or a grown-up? Yes, because according to the standard of maturity, you are still below your parents, so you are still a child. Exactly what that is what Blazor Child Component is about. If any Blazor component is called under or within a different component, then that component becomes a child to the parent. I hope this is clear. Alright, don't worry, with an example, you're going to understand that. So that is what we're going to have a look today. So when you check this, you can see we have this simple application here, and that is for the Blazor application, Blazor server application. Now you can see from here that we have this home button, and we have these two buttons as well. Now the whole component that come together to form this application are three. We have this home component, and that is what you are seeing here. You have one component, and that is what you have this. Normally it is called survey, right? But I changed the name to default page. So the default page is what you are seeing here. We also have another component over there, and that is the add item component. And we also have another component known as show item list component. So in all, we have three components. But you can see that if I click on add item, check the route here. You can see from the address, as soon as I click on add item, if I'm not using the child component, it has to navigate to the page route, isn't it? So it could be add component.Blazor or etc. Now watch here. As soon as I click on add item, nothing changes here, but the new page loads. Now I can add item here. I already added three over here, but let's add one more. So I'm going to say school bags, because these are items, so I'm adding school bag as well. So let's say we have the quantity here is 102. As soon as I click on add, it gets added to this list. I can also add more. Do you have to pay water bill? No? Okay, so let's say mobile, and let's say this is 580. I can just hit on the enter to get it added. So you can see there is one component, and that's a Blazor component, and these components are known as child component. They are child to this home, or that's the index component. Index component is a parent to these. Okay, these are children. Now if I click on, did I say they are child? No, they are children. One is child, right? So it's a child to that, and they are children to the home or the index component. That's right. Alright, so let's continue on. Now you can see I've added this, and if I click on show item list, you can see I can also show this item list. And this is also another component. But you can see there's no route here. The route still remains fixed as the home route. And I can also toggle back, and you can see I can come back again, do that, and do on. Now you can see from here, if I click on return home, it's going to hide this and I'll display the default one we saw earlier on. So if I click on return home, you will see this pops up, and this also, it loads the next component. So it works like a frame, right? But it's not a frame here, because with Blazor, you're not using frame, and you're using this event callback and a razor component. So with this example, I think let's have a look at it with a practical aspect. So with this, I can also edit it. If I click on this, let's say with edit, you can see it loads to this. Nothing happens here. I can change the name to computer 1, change this to 0, and add 0 to it. Now watch here. I click on save, and you can see it has been saved already. Click on this, and this is oven, right? So I can add S, save, and you can see it has been saved. All right. So that is a way you can just click on it to get it updated. Let's create Blazor server project, and now let's start with it. All right, so we click on file, new project, and we are going in for Blazor server, so we have it over here. And now the name that I'm going to use here is I'm going to use demo hard show Blazor or Razor Child Components. Don't worry, the name is very long, but don't worry. So let me make it at Blazor instead. Okay, so Blazor Child Components. And that's going to be the name for this project at GitHub as well. Click on next, and we use 7.0 as a framework, then we create it. So this is done. Quickly, let's create a model that we're going to use for this practical. So we're going to create a folder here, and I'm going to name it as models. So quickly, models, and we're going to create a class or a model, and we're going to name that model as items. So we're going to have item ID, item name, and quantity. Only 3 properties that you're going to have under that model. Now let's grab these and we do that as well. Okay, aside from that, let's create our service. Okay, now with this service, we're going to create a simple service for this practical. So I'm going to create a class solution with the same model. Let's add this as a class, and we say that there is an item service. Now with the item service, we can combine, since this is a small one, we can put the interface on top. Now with the interface, you want to have something like list of item, get items, item, get one item, update, add item, and also delete. For now, let's remove the delete because we want to have a small one. Maybe let's maintain this. Okay. Now with the implementation, you're going to have a class, and now with that class, it's going to inherit from this item interface. So let's put a class down here. So you can see there's a class, and it is inheriting from the interface here. That's the interface item service. All right. Okay. So that's what we have. Oh, we have to clear this. It has to be outside the class. Okay. Let's remove one here. Control K D. Let's format it well. That's right. Okay. So we have a list of this is a list of objects that we are creating as a list of items, and now here we populate to get items. We return all items, all data inside this item. Currently it is now, but when you start adding, this is going to be populated. Get item by ID, return it, loop through, or we search for the ID. Now update it, we search with the ID, and now we set the name and the quantity to it. And also with the item, we just add it straight ahead. And now with the delete, we just remove from the ID that is coming in when we make a search out of it. Very simple class, right? Now, you know, when we are done with this, in order for us to use this worldwide, right? That's a worldwide, yes, everywhere. Then let's have to create a DI. That means a dependency injection. And we can do that in the program.cs class. So that is it, the last one. Let's make some registration. And I'm going to put it here. So put out the services.addScope, we pass in the interface and the implementation. Okay, so we have our service created and it is ready to serve. Now, what we're going to do here is let's create our component. So, you know, with the component, this is what we're going to do. We have default components, you're going to convert them. So when you go to pages, we have this set folder. We have this survey prompt, and I'm going to make it as default. So, and now I'll just drag this to the page. Yes, put it there. And now that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have, let me just paste this here. It's the same, but just that here, I use this condition, visible. So if it is visible, then display this. If it is not, then get it away. Okay, so you can see it is a parameter that is coming in as a visible parameter. So you have to provide it. You're going to provide title as well. The title is going to be displayed over here, as you know, from the default one when you create a new project with this. Okay, so these are the few changes that we did. This one and that one. Okay, so that's the page first one. Now let's have a look with the item. Let's have an item list. And with the item list, we can use a counter to handle that. So here, let's change the name to item list, although you can create a new component, okay? But let's maintain what we have here. Now with this item list, we have a few things to work about. Now you can see we have using the same thing, right? So visible here, it means we can hide this, we can show it, we can hide, we can toggle between view and hide, right? Now here, the item service, let's include the reference, and that's from the models folder. Okay, we create an instance out of this. All right, now this visible, we have a simple edit form here. Now with this edit form, it is having a V stack, so you can have it in the vertical form. If it is a A stack, it's going to be in the horizontal form. I hope you know that. Good. Now you can see we are binding to the model name and model quantity. And that is it, because you know the model has name and quantity, and that's all. So that's what we do, and we have a save button as a submit type. And here we have a table beneath. Okay, so as soon as I add, it gets to add it to this table. Now in this table, we create a table header. Now the table body. Now the table body, you can see we are looping through the items count as a list, then display them with the item ID as table data, right? And now with each record, we assign on click. So if I click on that record, it means I want to handle an edit, passing the ID of that specific record. This is very simple, right? When it comes to the code sound here, is it the code sound? The code side, right? The code side here. You can see from here that you have this visible, and it is a parameter. It means it has to pass in. It's going to be accept, or it's going to accept this variable value, okay, when you call this component. Now when you take a look, you see that you're not having any route here because you're not going to navigate to this page. We're going to use this as a child component to a parent component. And let's see, so there's we have a list of items here. We have an item, a single item object. Now we have a counter as 1. Now when I click on save item, this save item is coming from the onValid submit or unsubmit. Okay, so from this save item, this is what we are doing. We check if the ID is equal to 0, it means it is a new one that you want to save. Then we call the service and our add item. You can see it is asking for model. When you check the service over here, add item, it is asking for a model. So we add that. Very simple one. Okay. Now when you check the next one here, we are using counter plus plus. Initial counter is 1. You can see it is not from database, so we can't assign ID to automatically. And we can't do it one after the other. So you want to get a system whereby it's going to add the ID automatically. And that's why we're using this counter plus plus. So you're going to add 1 anytime a click is done. So count here, it is 1. When a click is done, you're going to assign the 1 here. And you're going to add this as 2. Okay. When I click again, it is 2. You're going to assign, it's going to make it as 3 in that fourth. Okay. But in case the ID is greater than 0, it means we want to update. So call this update. And I want to check this service. The update, it is assigning the name to the current one, the quantity to the incoming object here. And let's see what else again. And here you can see if when we talk about the handle edit, we want to handle the edit. You know, this is a container item model, and that's what we use to handle this edit form. So all these details or view here, it is coming from this item model. So when change the value of this, it's going to also change this automatically. So that is why we are assigning this over here. When the handle edit, it means search through this data, call this service and pass in the ID. When the results come, assign to this item model. And that's what we are doing to handle the edit. Now you can see we have something here as item model is equal to new. That means we are clearing the content. Okay. So we are clearing the content from it. Now get list means populate it. We have a list of items. So call the service and assign the list from the service to this object. That is it. That's what we are doing in the item list. Okay. And now, so if it is visible, this is going to show. If it is not, this is going to be hidden. Very simple to that. Now let's have a look with the next one. And this next one, we are going to display only item. Okay. So only the item. Now you see from the first one, we could see we added add section. So the user can add. But the next one, we want to display only the items. You want to remove that add section. So let's convert the fetch data component as only items. And now within that, we can have a look at with this simple code as well. It is just what we did for the first one. Okay, the same thing. So let's include a service here. So let's include the namespace of it. So control period, let's include the namespace. Now we are checking if it is visible, then display this. Now you see from here that we're not having the buttons on top as you saw in the item list. Okay, there's no form to submit. It is only looping through the list that we have here and I'll display the table data in it. ID, quantity, and our name. It is looping through this item collection object here. Okay, and that is what you're doing over here. Now, as you can see from here, we are using the button as return to home. Now, this is where the event call-up comes in. We want to click on this button and notify the main page. Okay, so event callback, it's going to call this event inside the parent component. An event is going to be initialized here, but it can be called through another component. That is what we know as the event callback. So this event has been handled, or this method is going to be handled over here, but you can click on it to call this event inside the edit component. Now we create an on-click, we pass in this model as hide view. Okay, we want to hide view. Now when it comes to down here, this is a hide view. Okay, and we are passing as a parameter of event callback as display home page. So when we click on this, we want to display the home page. That's the default page. You want to hide all and display the default page. Now you can see from here that we call this event callback. And now this is a home page. So you can see we are invoking this event callback. That's why we do display home page.invoke async. Okay, so we invoke it. Okay, so anytime this is called, it means we are also calling this as well. Now we are getting a list of items over here, and I will call this method as get list. And now when the page initializes, we call this get list. So anytime the page runs, it's going to populate and I'll get us the list that we have over here. Okay, so with this event callback, you have to also give a meaning to this event at the home page or anywhere that you want to use this only items component. Now let's see. So once we are done with this, let's do the last one, and that's going to be the home page. So from the home page, that is where we are going to add all the components, all the children components. So for the index, let's paste it here. Now you can see that you have a page title, that's a route over here. Now you can see we have these two buttons on top. So that is a manage show component, and this is manage show only or show items component. So show items list, and this is add item. You see we are calling the first Blazor component as child. This is the second one as child, the third one as child. So all these are children components, and now this index is a parent component. So when we talk about child component, that is what it means. I hope this is clear. Thumbs up. Let's go. Oh, let's move on. Okay, so we have this, and you can see these are parameters that we specify. Example is this item list, and we specify a parameter known as visible. So it is an item list. There's a parameter as visible. We check here, you see we have only one parameter as visible. So do you want to show this? And we set to this. So defaultly when this page loads, it is what? False. So you want to hide that component. Although it has been registered here, but it won't show it is visible. It is hidden. Okay, not visible. Now this is the next one, is show item, only item list component. It's also false. We have that component here, and the visibility, it is this. Okay, so it is false. So it means it is not visible. Now there's an event attached to this component. Now this chat component, the event is display home page, and now we assign a method to this. So this is a method that's going to work. Okay, so when you click on this, you want to call this method. Okay, so this method over here is show home page. So when you click on this button, okay, we want to perform the action inside the mother component. Click on the child component and get the action performed inside the mother or the parent component. And that's what we are doing here. So show home page, it is found over here. Show home page, it is this. So we call this method as reset or, and then show default page equal to true. Remember that this show default page here, it is a parameter that we are passing in as a visible, and we state or we specify it over here as true. So defaultly, when the page loads, all of these are going to be hidden, and only this is going to be visible. Okay, now aside from that, this is manage show component. That's the first one. Okay, add item. In case I click on this, okay, this is the click button. In case I click on this button, I want to reset everything. It means the reset is going to set all them to hidden, then display only one that I want. Do the same thing to the next one, and now display that. That's all about using this. You can see we use one event callback to return, to perform an event. Even that event or that function, it is not found in that component, but rather in the parent component. And that's the power of event callback. Now let's save this, and we can run application and see what we have now. All right, so you can see it is open now. Now let's see. So all these components, they are there. We can just remove them. Okay, they are there because we changed. There's nothing. We've changed the name, so they're nowhere to be found. Now let's get to the main. So add item. This is the default one, a default page. Add item. You can see it is hidden. It is popped up over here. Is item? Am I? For example, is an item? Oh, let's say it's a school fees desktop computer. So let's add the quantity over here as 200. Click on save, and it has been added. Let's add the next one as maybe desktop computer 1. You see, this is 1,000, 10,000, etc. And we can also edit this. So let's make it as add 5, and it is saved now. When we click on show item list, you can see only this is shown. It is off. This is off, and this is shown. Return home page. This is where the event callback has. When you click on this button here, it is found within this thread or this chat component, but an action is going to be taken inside this home or the index component. That's the parent component. Click on this, and we are back. So that is it today. We've seen how to hide or show Blazor chat components, right? Also using the event callback as well. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up as well as indicated earlier on. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I will catch you up next time.